Story time about how I'm going to be filing an official police report and restraining order against someone who I met 8 years ago that I forgot existed. The thing about me is, I've never been a perfect victim, but I'm sure as fuck I've been a victim and am a survivor. I'm a late-in-life really statistic person who has experienced the statistically likely rates of SA and SV, as well as the substance abuse. When I met this person, who is at least 10 years older than me and I'm 35, it was the summer before I started my PhD. I was drinking heavily, I was doing yoga 6 days a week, in the best shape of my life, probably, one of them. I ran into this man with somebody, I don't remember who I was with actually, but we ran into their friend group at, I think, a liquor store, and then we went and hung out with them for like, I don't know, we talked for like some hours. This dude had his eyes on me, and he was like a goofy weirdo, so I liked goofy weirdos, and that's just sort of what it was, even though I'm queer. Anyway, it's a long story. We texted, and I realized he's writing all of these really long, unhinged, word salad-y fucking messages, and I'm like, maybe this dude's just an artist. Maybe this dude's just like one of those fucking weirdos that thinks this is funny. He uses basically no punctuation. It's just a really, really long run-on sentence that goes on like a novel in text. Anyway, this dude says shit that he'll interlace normal shit with like absolutely obscene shit, and he did that always. This dude is begging me to go on a date with him, to go to this party at his friend's house. I'm like, okay, this dude seems harmless enough even though he's a little fucking weirdo. I'll go on this date with him. So I did. We had fun, and it's like at this huge house. I think it might have been in Hammond, Indiana. I forget. I grew up near Chicago. Anyway, it was fun, but he's like kind of a fucking weirdo. And not in a good way, I mean, in a very bad way. He was asking more and more invasive questions and like weird fucking questions, and I love a good weird ass question, but also like it was weird. Anyway, we ended up going to Round the Clock, one of the famous Northwest Indiana diners, afterward, and I remember like he reached out to take my hand, and I was like, and then he opened my wrist, and he's like, "You never tried to unalive?" And I was like, "Excuse me?" He was like, he tried to look at both my wrists to see if I'd ever tried to unalive, and I was like, no. And no offense to anyone that has. I've lived plenty of trauma. I've just never self-harmed that way. I'm more of a skin picker myself, personally, but this is neither here nor there. Anyway, that was fucking weird as hell. Really, really fucking weird. And even though I'm autistic, the alarms went off, and I was like, I'm never gonna see this man again. So anyway, I don't. And then he keeps texting me progressively weirder shit. And then one night, I'm drunk as absolute fuck, and apparently I text him, because I was just, being a little 20-year-old. Because this dude was obviously really, really into me, and it was just a bad judgment, and I was like, send me something that you shouldn't, it wasn't anything images, it was text. And I was like, anyway, it was a bad move, I shouldn't have done it. Like I said, I'm not a perfect victim. Anyway. I exploit him for that for one night, and then I'm like, I'm not interested. And the next morning, if I remember right, I text him and I'm like, I shouldn't have done that. I'm not interested in you. Like, sorry, I'm not sorry. Also, don't talk to me again. And that's the last thing I remember. And then I move away from my PhD to a whole new state to pursue my dreams. And I never think about the dude again. And then, apparently, years later, I'm checking my Facebook message requests, and I'm noticing that he's sent me blocks and blocks and blocks of obscene shit for years. And I'm like, what the fuck? I forgot that this man existed, and he's been doing this all this time. Anyway, he texts me. I block his number after telling him I'm not interested, don't talk to me. And then, for anyone that was here when I made that video about how I broke up with my ex for lying to me, and only reason I stayed with him for 7 months is because this motherfucker texted me from a new number. He texted me from a new number, and I said, don't contact me again. What didn't you understand? I'm not interested in you. That was never a thing. We were never a thing. Do not contact me. If you do again, I'm going to file a police report. Well, guess who fucking texted me this afternoon? A really weird ass fucking message. That's on my stories right now. August 1st, 2025, right now. So I fucking blocked him, but then I was like, oh, I'm gonna need to take a screenshot of this so that I can file a police report and a restraining order. Because it's been 8 years since I forgot that this fucking guy even exists. And he's still being a fucking weirdo. Again, I'm not gonna say I'm a perfect victim, but that doesn't fucking excuse what this motherfucker is doing. There is endless things wrong with that message. Amongst all of them, the random racism at the end, soliciting me for smecks, just genuinely being a fucking weirdo in a very bad way. Anyway, I guess I'm gonna be filing a police report and a restraining order against this motherfucker. Why are men like this?